How's it going, everybody? Let me lower the music. The music's a little loud. But I'm just doing a little modeling today. Nothing crazy. I just wanted to kind of work on some new shaders. That's pretty much all I'm working on. I really want to work on a procedural shader that runs off of mostly noise generators. So we're going to probably do a Voronoi actually to start off. And I think I'm going to do color. I think I'm going to do distance and make that 4D. And I'm just going to mix like a bunch of shaders together and then send like half of the controls into a grouped node so that I can control kind of things. But I want to start with the base material, and I want it to be kind of a stucco. So right now, if I was to plug this into we've got some like dots here, and stucco sticks out of the wall in little dots, so I want to kind of invert this, which is fine. And that's why I've got the sun on right now, because I want to see what this looks like in sunlight. And the reason I'm not using images is because I want this to scale without having to like worry about tiling at all. So I think I'm just going to go with a color ramp, and then we're just going to invert these. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I also kind of want to do B-spline here and see if this isn't more of what I'm looking for. And I'm probably also going to honestly, what I should probably do is have this going into the bump right off the bat. Bump height, run that into the normal, and then I think that should be fine. Distance 0.02 on that, and see, so now we're getting a little bit of that bump. That's what I just want to see if I can get, and set this scale to like 50. That's what we're looking for. I don't actually want the color to be based off of this, but I'm just doing this right now with color so that I can see kind of the shape that I'm going for here. But we could start like this. So this is close to stucco. This doesn't not look like stucco, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna mess with it. I'm gonna add some more stuff, but I definitely want kind of the base to be pretty bumpy. And then I'll probably have like stuff chipping off of that using another Voronoi. Set the detail on this a little bit higher. I don't want the detail to be too high. Let's go 3 or 4 on the detail, because that like drastically increases your interesting. I don't know if I like that. Let's set that scale down. No, I don't think I like that. Let's set the detail back at 3. And let's go detail back at 2. Yeah, I'm thinking 2 for detail on that. Looks the best. And you know what I might do? I might get rid of the sun texture, and we might just throw in a light. Scale that sucker up and just bring it up to like 1,000. And we'll go 2,000. And then that's just getting a nice top-down view so we can kind of see some of those shadows. And so we want a lot of bump here. We want a lot of bump. We want ridiculous amounts of bump, which is why I want to look at it this way. So that's not bad. What was the detail before? Dude, I think 0 detail is the best. Even if we get rid of that, that looks great. And that looks great. And that's at 50. And so we have like a bump control, like a seed value for our bump there. And this is Euclidean. We could try Manhattan. I don't really care for that. Chebyshev. Minkowski. Yeah, no, we're going to stick with this. This looks great. And later I'll probably make a new one of these, but just for now, I'm going to probably start using the same thing. And we're going to add a new one in. What I want to do with this new one is kind of set a mask to put this one further back. Or this one will be on top, and then we'll have like something crushed underneath. So this is sitting there. That's great. Let's go new. Let's do a Voronoi again. Let's run that into here. And like, let's see what this one looks like. Shift, Control. Whoa. Shifty. And what I'm trying to do here is just create a mask, right? So we want this one to be a little bit more on the ease side of things. And pretty much just black and white. So we'll set this to constant. And I want this to be pretty low like that. But I also want it to kind of, man, this is difficult, because I want to blur that a little bit. So this going into, we'll set a Shift A noise texture. No. And we'll go mix shader. Mix color. Set that to black. And the factor will be the noise, the new noise. Yeah, like a good old, yeah, popcorn ceiling. Sorry, I'm not reading chat. I'm kind of like locked in right now, legitimately. And then let's set this to linear. See, like this. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to get some kind of like rough material underneath here. And so you know what? We actually might want to invert this. This is what we want to do. We want to invert this. And set this to white. And then this can be kind of dark. This is like a mask, right? This is like a bump mask. And I almost want to set this to like a gray. Interesting, that doesn't work. So maybe the brightest part on this is gray. And then this will be darken. Nope. Multiply. Nope. Screen. Yes. Screen. Or lighter color. Unless this goes like this. Nope. That's going to go there. So then with something like this, that's just so much though, which is the problem. I don't know if this is gonna be, I have like a thing going on music wise for y'all. Tried to do like village pub fair use music, so we'll just skip to the next song because I know that song is, there's no way that's fair use. It's like an iconic song. Okay, so now where this is at, I want to not be so, set the detail up to like, yeah, let's set the detail up to like 4. The roughness. Oh, you know what? All I have to do is roughness. Take the detail back down. Programming in the Shire. Facts. Facts. Roughness. I guess we could take this up. Take the detail up. We'll set this at 2. We're going to set this to be as far out as possible, really. We want this to be a small scale. I don't want it to be this heavy right now. Like, it's super fucking heavy right now. Random is really random. Black and hardy. No. Let's take this down. Take the roughness down. I just feel like it's so heavy. I just want it to be kind of like chipped paint. So for now, that's fine. We'll leave it there. We have it on, we maybe should put it on 4D. F1. Let's just see what all these other ones look like here. That's actually kind of interesting. Maybe we mess with that one a little bit. All right, let's try and mix these two together. So let's go like this. Let's grab this sucker. Well, not coat. Shift D. Let's put this here. Shift D. Put this here. Run this into the height. Run this into the normal. Put that into there. So this is what that's looking like right now. And let's also run this into the color so we can see what's going on. We want this to be darker. Like that. So that is looking like that. That's looking like that. Let's remove this. So I'm not seeing a lot of the cuts that I was making, which is kind of frustrating. Let's take that down. Oh, you can kind of see them. Let's set the filter weight a little deeper. Don't want it that deep. Something like that's fine. And then mixing these two together. So if I go like mix shader, mix shader, boom, take that down to there, take this one up to here. And then we're gonna use this as, not as the bump, but as the mask for these two. So like I really want where this is dark, which I almost want it to be like completely dark in there. Yeah, I almost just want this to just be like that. That looks great. And then we can use this for the interior texture. So this isn't even gonna be going into there. What's this look like? Yeah, so we just take this directly into the factor. We take this, we delete that. Take this down here. What's this look like? Okay. So we want this to kind of be like a concrete material underneath, I'm thinking. I just don't want it to be that. Let's add some more roughness. Yeah, that's great. Detail. Yeah, that's great. I like that. Distortion. No, we don't want any distortion. And we want to use this. And I'll organize later. I'll organize it all later. But mainly what I'm trying to do is have like a rough concrete material underneath, a nice stucco concrete popcorn ceiling on top, and then this is going to go directly into, stop it, the height, and we can look at what this looks like. And then my issue here is, why is this one showing up at all in this one? Because if this one is just fully in, you shouldn't see anything. And this one's fully in, that's what it should look like. Boom. The factor should be like, and it's still showing that one's bump. See, this is what I was looking for, but inversed. And not so damn rough. More like this. This is actually exactly kind of what I'm looking for. What the fuck? Let's set B-spline. Nope. Oh, that's interesting. If we change this from F2 to F1, and then we change the, not normalize. My next thing is I want, like, is there a way to, like, mix all three of these into a shader as well? Take this down to mix color. Mix color. This level. What's this look like? Results. Screen. Let's go screen. See, I like that. But just like inverse. Inverse? Truly? Really? Let's give that a shot. What the fuck? This might be it. Kind of like a rough, cracked concrete type thing. We need this one to be the same color though. If I set this to white, and I set this to white, what's this look like? See, I don't like that. That doesn't look good. I'm missing like 90% of my texture. Set this to white. No more messing around. I mean, this doesn't look bad for like a concrete material you can slap on, right? We just need it to be a little bit more concrete colored. Which means like I would almost want to go Shift A color. Wait. Let's set that one down. See, and I think what I'm running into here mostly is the fact that this is so rigid, right? So like this is just too, no, this one's too rigid. What does this one look like? This is too rigid. We need to change this. Let's see what we got here. That's kind of cool. How much am I normalize? No, I don't want to normalize. That's kind of sick. We're just mucking around, dude. We're just trying to figure it out. Like, right? Like, so like that's the bump map. No, that's the factor. We don't want that to be the factor. We just want this to be the factor. So when I go like this, and then now I should be able to go, okay, so we want this to be the nice bright white paint. We want this to be less white, like concrete underneath. Honestly, almost just like dark. But then my next stab is, how can I get this to be the bump map, right? Oh. Height. Height. What's this look like? Factor. And not screen. Darken. No, we'll just go through these. We'll go through these until we find something that we're looking for. I really want this to only show this one. So I wonder if I went like this and went like this. What about now? Damn, that sucks. Yes, yes, that's great. That's more what I was looking for. That's close. I don't want to clamp the factor. Clamp the result? Nope. We're getting, that's kind of what I was looking for. I just needed to like be inverted. So let's get rid of this. Let's take this and bring them forward, and then I think it's shift and right click like that. And then we can go shift A, invert color. This might be it, dude. That's not. Shift A, color ramp. Yeah, we can keep looking at that. There we go. Excuse me. Okay, wait. See, and I'm depressed because I really want this one coming out to be the brightest spot, but it's not going to do that for me. Whatever. Let's see how this fucking looks. Yeah, it looks like garbage. Looks like garbage. It doesn't look like garbage, but it's like, let's come down to our cube. Okay. Oh, so that doesn't work with that. That's interesting. Set scale on this. I'll just have to like re-cube project. What about extruding on the z-axis? Yeah, that still stretches it. I think that's just because we're using procedural materials. But let's get like some form of a semblance of a building going here. Like this. Rotate Z, 90. Go to our camera. Oh. Tab. Set scale. Let's go tab. UV project, cube projection. Looks like we're gonna have to go to the UVs. All scale Y. Interesting that that's not working. Bigly confused. Tab. Like that's fully stretched the procedural materials like no matter what. Like there's nothing you can do about that, which is interesting to me. So let's just scale it up. Scale on the y-axis. Scale y. Rotate z. Get a little loop cut in here. Bevel that. And honestly, we could bevel like this as well. That's fine. That looks great. There's faces. Sick. That looks fine. Looks fine. And then honestly what we could do is just extrude these. I don't really care for these polygons, but I'm not like, again, not super worried about this. Oof, Control Z, Control Z. We don't want to extrude these. Just out a little bit, that's fine. Honestly, this song is incredible. You really just can't beat fucking Zelda, dude. Old school Zelda's incredible. Cool. And then this, we're actually going to replace this entire material here. And we can do that right here. New material, new. And let's just make this like, I don't know. Honestly, we could exit and we could go to our asset library. And then let's just go Blender project files. Let's go to some of the materials I've made. I have a wood material here, light beech wood, I think. No. Procedural wood. Let's do it. Let's put that right there. Assign. I don't really like that one. Wood plank. Polished wood oak. Oh, here we go. Old wood planks. That's what we're doing. We're doing that. And then we can just go U, cube project, switch back to the UV editor. Tab, Control A, set scale. Tab, U, cube project. There we go. And then let's take, honestly, let's take this and this and that and that and that and that. Cube project. What if I just went smart UV project? I feel like that's better. All GX. Rotate slightly. Scale Y. Scale X. I like that. That looks good. And then let's take this this side. And these two will do the same thing. Scale Y, GX. We just want it to be slightly rotated so that you're not noticing the, we really don't want to notice the material repeating is what we don't want. Rotate Z. Let's do this. That's fine. I feel even though there is like a mirroring there and like this whole material is mirrored, that's fine. I feel like that looks good. And then now we just have this last one to do. And then we're gonna fix the wall. The wall looks like garbage, but let's just get the scene set up a little bit so we know what we're doing here. It can really help sell what you're doing if you have some kind of like realistic reference to look at. And so I'm just gonna get this all done. All G, scale Y, G. Set this up right here. No, like, that's not bad. That's not bad. Honestly, that's a decent fucking material. I made that out of like one image off of Pexels, and honestly, that weight could probably fucking come down now. Holy shit. Strength is incredible. Yeah, that's a nice wood material. I like that. All right, cool. We fixed that. Let's go back to this. Tab. All right. Oh, you know why I was doing that? It wasn't set to UV. That's why. So like the goal with this is to have like, you guys see where I'm going with this, right? Like, you're supposed to have like some stucco on the wall and then some not stucco on the wall. And I was trying to do that procedurally, but it's not really quite working out. What is with this scale being purple? Delete driver. Yeah, we don't want anything driving that. Can't believe I added a driver to that. So now we go tab all. Nope. We go link by material. And then we go, whoa. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Tab, link, U, cube projection. There we go. So, like, I mean, that doesn't look bad. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't look bad. Like, this is exactly what I was trying to go for, right? Like, this is what we want. We want something that's kind of, now I think all we really have to do is get this damage to look more damaged, and maybe we just switch that out with a regular noise texture, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking we do. So let's try that. Let's do this. Let's delete this. Let's go Shift A. Noise texture. Boom. 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 Scale. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so this isn't working right now. There we go. And we just, yeah, see, this is gonna look so, what was I thinking doing the Voronoi? I think I wanted it chips of paint, like it actually chips of paint. But I think this is gonna work better. If we go 4D and we drop that scale down, and then we just add detail, right? Roughness, get that shit rough. Detail, 4. Dude, this is it. Lacanardi, 4. 3.2. 2. 2.5. That's fantastic. And like we can control it. We can control it, right? We can control it. I think it looks a little bit better being a little tighter like that, but we can really make it pretty bad. But I don't see a need to, right? We can add a slight distortion in too. I don't know if that's gonna look weird. Just tighten it up a little bit. Nah, I say no distortion. 0 distortion, and we just bring this down to like that. I think that looks fine. Honestly, even bring this back a little bit. And like linear. That's fine. What's that look like? See, the only issue I have here is it looks like it's sticking out, and I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I really don't want that. That looks better, but now the problem is this needs to be inverted. Ugh, so frustrating. Is it frustrating? Or does that kind of look a little bit better? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Let's do this. Yeah, I think that's it. See, but that's still sticking out from the wall, and I hate that that's sticking out. That's so frustrating. Let's do this. Nope, still sticking out. Control Z, Control Z. All right, so we have to figure something out here. Because I really want that to be underneath. And maybe that's just like this. I want this factoring out. Maybe it's this. Factor these two out. Is that better? I don't know. I think that's better. We don't need that. Yeah. That's it. So this is like, it's like we have the white dots, and then we have, which are way too strong, by the way. These are incredibly strong. We need to drop that down. Something like 3.2. Stucco doesn't show up that much. And then we have the this distance. Let's try and make this darker. I know this is crazy, but I want to just give it a shot. That might be a little too deep. I don't need it to be that deep. Let's take it back. Let's take filter weight down. Oh, wait, no, filter weight up. And then distance down. 0.02. So it's just showing a little concrete through the wall, and then we could just take the roughness on this down, right? So if we take, the roughness on this up. So we take the roughness on this up, and then we also come here and we take the roughness on this down slightly. So the stucco's a little bit on the shinier side. A little bit more like paint. But the nice thing about this is we can totally take this and make it, you can make this, like you could totally change what color the stucco is, right? You could just come to the stucco. This is actually great. This is fantastic. So what I want to do is control group, right? And then we've got this. And what do we want to add to this? We want to take our stucco, scale, our stucco detail. No, detail's fine. Stucco roughness, maybe? That's fine. We also want our stucco color, or our stucco bump, right? This is going to be important. Stucco bump, and then our stucco color. And this is we're gonna make this into a shader where we just move sliders around and all this can change, right? Like that's the whole goal here. Oh, we could also hit tab, so we're not in there. And then while we're doing this, let's just stay as on top of this as possible group. So this is going to be, let's move base color up, insert before scale, stucco color, stucco scale, rough, and stucco bump. There we go. Now that that's there, we can move on to the next part of this. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably bring this up here and we'll just send it all down. We can bring this out, bring this up a little bit, maybe, I don't know. I can't see how the stream's going. I guess I could go here. How's that going for you guys? Can you guys even see what I'm doing here? More or less. You can see more or less. That's fine. Deal with it. I'm trying to do this in a way that you guys can follow along on. I'll move it here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. We can move this back a little bit. That's fine. Give you a little bit more space to see. We want to take the concrete scale. Wait, nope. We want to take concrete color. Concrete color. How did we do the other one? Scale, rough, bump. Scale, roughness, that's as high as that can go. So maybe the Lacanardi can be bumped up. Control Z. We'll do Lacanardi. And then a bump. And then we can fix those in here. So this will be concrete color. Concrete scale. Concrete rough. I don't know why I always type it like that. Concrete strength. Oh, I guess bump. Bump. Fantastic. And then now that that's done, we just need to get the mask in. And the mask is going to be actually super important. So we need the W of the mask, mask seed, mask scale, mask Lacanardi, and then if I flip these, mask invert. That's fine. And so then we call this, we go back up here, we go. Mask seed tab. Mask scale. Mask rough. I almost had it that time. And inversion. Mask inversion. Mask inversion. Cool. Name node group. This is going to be called chipped stucco, which is incredible because now watch this. I can move this here and I can worry about cutting all these and making it all nice and smooth and happy later. But if I hit tab right now, look at this. Look at how dope this is. I now have a node right here. So anytime I drag this on, and we'll call this chipped stucco, enter. And then we can save this, mark as asset. And then it'll be in my asset library. And so this is now just a material I have, but let's say I want to change any of the things that I've already put in here. Let's stretch this sucker out. Stucco scale. I can make all the dots, like a million of them, just by dragging that, or I can make the dots really, really big and kind of weird looking by dragging it down. We don't want that. We want a bunch of small dots. So that works great. We also have how rough that's going to be. The roughness of the bump, the stucco roughness. I think that's adding more or less. I'm not sure. Control Z, we'll leave that at 5. Stucco bump. We can make it very bumpy. We can make it very smooth, right? So I kind of like it at 250. We can also change the paint color of the stucco. Red stucco, right? Like super accessible. We also have the same controls over here. We could change the color of the concrete. White concrete underneath some paint. We can concrete roughness here. We can take the concrete bump down, right? Not so crazy in there. Also could make it probably not. Or if we're gonna make it like really white, we should make it like a yellow or something, or like a beige. Honestly, black looks really cool too, like a dark. But I digress. That looks fine. And then we can also come down to our bump and we can make that not so far back, or we can make it very far back. You know, really whatever you want, whatever you're looking for. That's fine. I feel like that's fine. And then we have our mask seed. We can change where the noise is coming from. Sick. We can make it bigger splotches. Fantastic. We can make it super small splotches. Fantastic. We can change the mask wherever we want the whether we want the stucco to be on the inside. We can make this just white, and this can be more of like a beige brown, right? Dirt stuck on the outside. Maybe not so or you could have it green, red, right? Like you can really just, it's just a useful material now for whatever you want to use it for. Probably wouldn't have anything that's perfectly black, but now as you mess around with this, you're going to notice the things that you want. Like if you're going to do some kind of blood splatter on the wall, or guts or slime, you might want to have a control for that detail. So concrete shininess. But I love that you can totally just change the scale of this completely independently, which means you also have perfect control of whether you want to have like a fully you could just go straight stucco on this, because if you set this mask scale to 0, it's just going to be one thing. And you could still invert it. It could just be a regular stucco wall. Purple stucco wall. And that's how I like to make little materials in Blender that I can use later on. But let's get this back to what I had it at. Set the saturation at low. Set the hue at something like a little bit on the beige side. Stucco is honestly very often more of a beige color. Light cream. And then let's set this seed scale at like, I don't know, 10? No. 1. Let's set this at 0 saturation. And maybe, honestly, not much different than the original color, just a little bit darker. Command copy. Command V. And then just a little bit darker. And then you just have some variation in your wall itself, which is nice, right? And so then it's not even that you're like changing the colors of stuff, you just have like a slight variation in just the material. And that's sick. I really do like that. You can even have that stuff sticking out. Like this is a nice material. The only difference that I would add is maybe go back in and use ambient occlusion node to add more grime and color to the outside with a whole other material. But that would be kind of, it's like just, you could get super complicated with these kinds of things. But that's I really do like that. I think that looks great. Got a nice little wood material I made for the door. A mesh, plane, scale. Control A, set the scale. Now let's go here, asset browser. Let's throw my, I also have a concrete material, but I actually just made recently. Where is my gravel? I have dirt and gravel. Boom. Now this one, unfortunately, I did not set up properly. So tab, even though it looks mostly pretty in here, I always have to come in here and I have to like, cube project, tab, sad face, scale this sucker down like a million times. That's fine. And then now we can come here and let's go like this. Where's the sky texture? Color, sky texture. Boom. Hide that area light. Tab. add some puddles in. Let's stretch this out so we can actually read what we're doing. This is another one I made. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I appreciate the sub. So this was made in a very similar way as the way we just made this chipped stucco, where I have two materials. These are image based, so if you zoom out too much and you don't have like a good dirt gravel driver here, you can see like the texture like repeating a bunch, which is fine. Because usually when you're looking at it, you're looking at it like this, right? But let's also get this way down to the side. Like this, I like that. And then I did have it set up where you can put some puddles on there just by making like the shiny spots tied to, or like the mask is like tied to the displacement and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know what? I think I can do it this way. I think if I go tab, subdivide, 20, tab, subdivision surface modifier. Then it should, the depth should change, but maybe not. There we go. Now I'm seeing the depth change. Yeah, here we go. We want this way down. You can start seeing some like depth in here. Although I think this is the opposite of what I want. I think I want the depth way up like that. Yeah. And then I just want the dryness to be like absolute. Like this. And so even though it's still perfectly flat, it's all just faking that depth. It's kind of fun. Kind of looks cool. And then if you want the dryness to, you can take this dryness down and it should start adding puddles back in. If I'm right. Nope, it still puts them in the wrong spot, which is fine. It's whatever. I'm like over it. You get the point. You can have fun with it. It's cool. So you can have a little house in the desert. I'm over it. I'm over it. This was fun. This was fun, you guys. I had an absolute blast. Go check out, I actually have tutorials on how I build this stuff out too. So if you guys are looking to follow like a step-by-step instead of just watching some rando on YouTube build shit out without any explanation, go check out the tutorials. I bigly appreciate it. I also have stuff not just on Blender, I have stuff on Photoshop and After Effects animation as well. I was supposed to get a new video up this week, but I've been very busy. The busiest, as they say. And that's okay. So I went live. That counts, right? But yeah, if you guys have any questions about Blender stuff, just let me know in the comments. And if I don't know, I will go research it and then I will remake the video that I watch. Or I'll just link you to whoever I find. No, yeah, I'd love to start making stuff that the community wants to learn. I think it would be cool. I'm definitely much more of a product animator kind of as by trade. So when it comes to building modeling, it's not my strong suit, as you can see with my beautiful doorway here. that is, how wide is this thing? You know, it's yeah, that's 2 feet wide right there. So this door is probably like 6 feet wide. It's a gateway. It's a gateway into a city with a wooden baseboard. Don't question it. Just enjoy it. No, I will say I am excited on how this turned out. This turned out pretty sick. He selected. I wonder why I did that. That was kind of weird. I am glad that this material turned out so good, because it allows for like close-up shots and stuff like that. And if you want it to be like a little bit more bumpy, so simple to add it in. Get more roughness into it as well, which is nice. And it just creates a more versatile material, which is really nice. I really appreciate that. I am going to invert that mask though. I think that looks a little bit better. Just a lot of detail. The only thing I would want to add, like I said earlier, is some dirt and grime, stuff like that, make it a little dirty, which you can do with procedural materials as well. It just takes a lot of masking and stuff like that. So I digress, you guys. I'm getting tired. I'd say it's about time to end this. So hopefully my Streamlabs remote works here, and I will see you guys later.